Hello again. I'm back at it. There's a there's quite a couple of stories I'm gonna go on today, but I wanna keep it brief at the same time. I wanna inform you on what I find interesting on what's happening today and my thoughts on it. So the first thing is the president of the Santaco, which is the taxi association. His name is Motlapane Abna Tsebe. Hope I said that right. He says that taxi associations um, are planning to convert to private companies. The reason for this is they want to be able to retain their customers. So here's what I think. When it comes to the taxi association, the taxi industry, they have mostly relied on monopolizing this industry through violence. Right? It hasn't been a matter of they are competing. They are trying to make travel for us passengers convenient. It has always been a matter of we have no choice but to use them or the trains. So unless you had your own private car, you had no other choice. When you look at it from that perspective, you then get to realize that these guys have enjoyed a running, a running of a monopoly on the transport industry. Whenever workers had to get from A to B, no one could do the job except them because some places you couldn't access through train and you either had to have your own car or the taxis had to find a way in their route to get you there. So that's that's one way to look at it. They've been enjoying a run, and now 2025, now what they dealing with what they're dealing with is being left behind, social degrading. What is it called? Social erosion. But what is happening here is they are being run out of fashion. We have Bolt, we have Uber, and we have people who just want to be private transporters. They don't want to be known public. They have their people, and from the outside perspective, it looks like a group of friends just transporting each other. But when you look at it now, the tax association is being flooded with competition. Competition they never had. And when it comes to competing, they can't compete because yes, these other platforms are more expensive, these other services are more expensive, but they cater with better service, better experience, better environment. When you look at the taxi association, what have they done in the last 10 years to improve taxi ranks? Like this, what's happening to them was inevitable, is inevitable, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. Now, you would think it makes great business sense for a tax association to pivot and become a company because they are not a state owned enterprise. So they won't collapse and be sold off into privatization necessarily. It's more like they they are their own force. Okay, they don't get controlled. They do the telling. And whatever it looks like publicly, they don't care because they run the show. So when they are being flooded with all this competition and they think they can go private in order to compete, I don't see it working in their favor. Here's my reason why. There is no taxi driver or taxi boss that has ever given the time of day to customer experience. They have never given the time of day to customer concerns. So when you look at their competitors, they are lacking in basic fundamentals, which would take them leaps and bounds if they got it right. Basics. Basics. For example, not that I'm going to just say these things, but for example, why do people still stand in taxi ranks? In 2025, people go to taxi ranks and they still stand waiting for a taxi. Is that practical? I don't know. Some taxi ranks, the main ones, will have taxis there waiting so people can sit inside. But there are other taxi ranks where people just stand. There's no seats there. And I'm not saying that taxis are not doing enough by being there so people can sit, but it's not just about the vehicle. The area, that's your area. Why are there no seats there? Another thing is Wi Fi. It's a public area that everyone accesses. Why is there no Wi-Fi in taxi ranks? It's it's basic fundamentals. Like you look at it and they haven't caught up with the times. When you look at like music, some taxi ranks are loud with music, but it's coming from the taxi. What about itself, the taxi rank itself having their own music? I don't know. I don't know. But there's basic fundamentals they could have gone at to just try to make the service better, you know, like the way they treat some of their customers. It's, you know, this is inevitable, is what I'm saying. So, will this thing work for them privatizing their companies, their associations? No, I don't see it working. Why? Because they're gonna have to come up with a mainstream app that competes with Bolt and Uber. They've tried with Shesha, didn't work. Second round, most likely won't work also. Second, taxis are focused on large scale gathering of people, 16 seaters, 10 seaters. Their competitors are not even looking at that. They focused on single travel, one person, two people, and they charge higher than the price for that single seaters that the taxi charges. Third, private companies like Bolt and Uber pick you up at your place or any location that you'll be at. It doesn't have to be a taxi rank. But when you look at taxi rank, when you look at taxis, it's about being in the road, being where they are traveling. So when you look at them structurally, systemically, they're not gonna be able to compete. Whether they go private, it doesn't matter. They lack the fundamentals, the fundamentals of that industry right now. They've been outdated. They've been beaten. Okay, that's why I don't know. I don't know. I think they should just call it quits. Let's wake up one morning and there's no taxes on the road. My proposal. Let's take it from there afterwards. Now, for my second case, and I got notes for this because it's yeah, it's something. So a lot of people have been following the Jocelyn Smith case, right? A verdict came out today, Thursday, on what's gonna happen to the accused. So it goes as follows. I'm gonna read it. Raquel Kelly Smith and her boyfriend Jaquine Porter Apollos and her friend or their friend Stevino Van Rijn was sentenced to life in prison for human trafficking. There you go. There you have it. To life. To life. That's like what, 20, 25 years? But but there's more. But there's more. So they are also serving 10 years for a kidnapping charge that will run concurrently with their life sentences. Yeah, these people are not getting parole. They never getting parole. Oh, they are fucked. This is deep because, like, yes, because judges pass out judgments every day, every week. But because of how this case is such a high profile case, they had to really lean into it. They had to really make a point, make a statement that this is not tolerated in South Africa. Those people are never coming out of prison, ever. So when you look at it, these people are going to have their names put down on the National Child Protection Register. And from now on, when you search for kidnappers, human traffickers, all those things, publicly, you will find their names. They are going to be there and it will be known. My thing is now, how what about Jocelyn? Like, is this now a lost case? Like, okay, we're gonna punish these people because we've given up, we can't find this person. And human trafficking in South Africa is not something people think about. They think it's happening. Like people live in their own bubbles. It's not a thing you would think is happening. And yet here, in this case, you know. So I think that this whole Jocelyn situation, they should come out and tell us straight up first that they can't find her. It shouldn't be a matter of we keep wondering when are they gonna find her. They should just come out and tell us we can't find her. Then they should tell us whether or not they wanna continue efforts trying to find her in the following months, years, however long it takes, or they wanna just stop. But to leave us hanging is a no. Is a no. We need to at least understand the capabilities of our police force. Second, these people who are never coming out of prison, I hope somehow they find some type of higher power to help them get out of these drugs they were doing, because this was apparently for drugs. Imagine. So I hope they find a higher power, whether it's God, whether it's a warden, whether it's someone else, whether it's another religion, I don't know. But they better find a higher power and help themselves. As for South Africans, I think us as South Africans should find ways to take more responsibility to secure our neighborhoods, our communities, our country. I think that there should be financial muscle put in wherever it can be to get security companies or whatever to patrol. Yes, I agree that we need to have community patrols and all those sort of things. At the same time, I also believe in some form of capitalism here. The companies exist; they provide the service. If you pay the fee, why not just utilize it? They are they are willing to offer that service. The company exists. So I'm also all for let's use what we have. So yeah, that's that that's my take on it. Let's stop this from happening. And yeah, let's let's love our kids. Let's take care of the kids. Let's not allow unsavory people near kids. Protect your home, protect yourself, protect your kids, protect your family. I'm out. Cheers.